Have you ever thought about what it would be like if you or a loved one lost arms or legs? What if that same person lost their life? Meningitis is the inflammation of the membranes that surround your brain and your spinal cord. Meningococcal disease is a very serious bacterial illness. It is the leading cause of bacterial meningitis in children 2 to 18 years of age in the United States, according to the Centers for Disease Control. Getting the meningococcal vaccine will prevent the physical effects caused by the disease, as well as prevent loss of life. Too many people are getting sick and dying from meningococcal disease. Most of them are children. About 1,000 to 1,200 people die each year in the United States from the disease. 10 to 15% of those die even after receiving treatment with antibiotics. Another 11 to 19% will lose their arms, their legs, have trouble with their nervous systems, become deaf. They could even suffer from strokes or seizures. The bacteria can affect anyone. It does not discriminate. It's very common in children between the ages of 16 to 21 years of age, and in infants less than a year. There are certain people that are at a higher risk for getting the disease, such as college students living in dorms, the military, lab technicians exposed to the bacteria, people without a spleen or even a damaged spleen, and the list goes on. Meningococcal disease is also very contagious. It occurs when bacteria from an upper respiratory infection enters the bloodstream. It's spread through the respiratory route, so coughing, sneezing, sharing of drinks or foods are among some examples of the means of transmission. Now, preventing this disease is simple. The solution? 2 shots. The Center for Disease Controls recommends adolescents between the ages of 11 and 18 to get 2 vaccinations. The first dose is usually given at the age of 11 or 12. Then a second dose is administered at the age of 16 or right before starting college. There are other ways to prevent the spread of the disease as well. Hand washing, very important. You hand wash before you eat. You hand wash after using the toilet, after being in a public place, and after petting animals. Good hygiene. Don't share drinks. Don't share foods or utensils or lip balm. Cover your mouth when sneezing or coughing. And stay healthy by getting plenty of rest, eating healthy, and getting enough exercise. Educate yourself by reading information from credible resources. Decide if the benefits of the vaccine outweighs the risks. As with any vaccine, there are risks, but they're minimal. There could be redness or pain in the area where the shot was given, brief fainting spells, but it is recommended that you sit for 15 minutes after getting the shot. This will help prevent any injuries from happening. In extremely rare instances, a severe allergic reaction can occur because of the shot, but as I said, it is extremely rare. Now imagine yourself waking up one morning, going in to wake up your teenager, and finding that they're burning up with fever, vomiting, and can't move their neck off the pillow. So you take your child to the emergency room, and the doctor tells you he suspects meningitis. They need to perform a spinal tap in order to be certain. And I'll explain a spinal tap in just a moment. First, I want to share my own personal story about spinal tap and meningitis. I was probably about 11 years old, and I was spending the weekend with my aunt and uncle. All I could remember was how sick I was that entire weekend. Fever, vomiting, and an extreme headache. I couldn't get my head off the pillow. I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink, nothing. On Sunday, when my parents came to pick me up, they took me right to the emergency room, and that's where they were told that I could possibly have meningitis. So they needed to perform a spinal tap. Well, Here's what a spinal tap is. The doctor inserts a long needle into the lumbar region of your spine. All the while you're awake, you're lying on an exam table, and you're forced in a fetal position where you're held down. All I can remember is the extreme pain of that needle. There is no numbing involved. Raina DuBose. Raina DuBose was a successful 6'3" basketball player for Virginia Tech. In 2002, she was diagnosed with bacterial meningitis. Why? Because she took a sip of water from her friend's water bottle. Her organs went on to fail, and she went into a coma. She lost her arms and legs due to the loss of blood supply. She did end up living. Today she now goes from school to school, and she speaks about her ordeal. And she does it with a very good, positive attitude. You can watch her story on YouTube. It is quite interesting. Now, with all the changes in society today, diseases are prevalent. Experts are constantly working to find ways to protect us against them. Let's take advantage of those preventative methods out there to stop spreading these diseases. Talk to your doctor about this horrible disease. Educate yourself on the benefits and risks. I was talking to a pediatrician who I work with, Dr. Janet Weinberg, and I was letting her know about the speech that I was doing. She told me there was only one family that she was never able to convince to get the vaccination against bacterial meningitis. She told me that her words to her families are as follows: 24 hours. That's all it